This is Orlando Sentinel Now.
Hello, it's Tuesday, July 20th. I'm Rich Pope here with Steve Lemongello and Trevor Frazier. They have good topics they're going to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about Governor DeSantis, his take on why COVID vaccinations are lagging right now. And then we're also going to talk about a disruption in rental cars, and we got to avoid scammers right now. Trevor's going to touch on that. But we're going to start here with Steve Lemongello, and we're going to talk about that lag in vaccination. Yesterday, Governor DeSantis said a distrust in expert is the cause. What's going on?
Yeah, so yesterday, DeSantis was asked, like, are you specifically doing anything more, yourself, health experts, to help promote getting vaccinations? Now, when the vaccines first came out in December, he was out there, going to vaccination sites. He was there when the first person got vaccinated in December. As ages start to get rolled out in January, February, March, he was holding, repeated vaccination events. But he hasn't really done so in a while. And, this is at the same time that DeSantis's campaign has sort of ramped up these sort of anti-Fauci, anti any COVID restrictions sort of thing. He has, his campaign is selling beer koozies saying, "Don't Fauci my Florida. How can I drink a beer, wearing a mask?" He's playing for 2022 and possibly 2024 presidential purposes, to that sort of segment of the population. Now, the problem is that same sort of, anti-mask segment is also a bit anti-vax. So it's sort of like a difficult line for DeSantis in that, he's trying to, be the, anti-mask, we're Florida is free sort of thing, while at the same time trying to promote vaccinations, which helps, Florida, be more free and have less, restrictions. Over the last few weeks, of course, cases in Florida have jumped over 200%. About 1/5 of all the new cases in the country, the entire country over the last week, are in Florida. So it's exploding here. And, the question was asked yesterday, what is DeSantis doing? And he didn't commit to holding any more events promoting vaccinations. He seemed to sort of say, well, whoever wants them wants them. We vaccinated seniors who are the main people at risk at this. A lot of people who are getting it currently are, younger, so it doesn't affect them as much. But, again, there's a huge jump in cases among the unvaccinated in particular, and, all the deaths, almost all the cases among the unvaccinated. One of the quotes he said from yesterday was he sort of lambasted experts as a reason.
Yeah, we have a clip here from that yesterday when Governor DeSantis made these comments. Let's go ahead and listen in on that.
We have to be careful in terms of some of the messaging for folks that may be skeptical about the vaccine. I do not agree with some of these people, some of these quote unquote experts who lambaste people and criticize them or say they're stupid or something. That's not the way to reach folks. And I'm sorry, there's been a lot of misinformation and a lot of bad advice that's been given by some of these experts over the last year. These people saw all that. They remember all this stuff.
Governor DeSantis also commented that individuals shouldn't be overly critical of people that decide not to get the vaccination. Almost don't shame them.
Yeah, he's saying, like, you don't criticize them like they're stupid or something. That's not the way to reach people. But again, like, he's not really doing anything to reach people, on a positive way either. The Sentinel editorial board this morning, called for DeSantis to, hold vaccination events in a lot of these rural counties. It seems to be vaccination skepticism or just straight out anti-vaxxism seems to be high in a lot of, red places. Republicans more than Democrats, hold events in these Republican places. But hasn't done that so far. Like, from his comments yesterday, he seems to be that, he seems to be of the opinion that if you wanted it, you've gotten it, and if you don't, you're not. But people are still getting vaccinated. People are starting to get vaccinated more and more because of what you've seen nationally of just, huge numbers of unvaccinated people. Just again, over 99% of the new cases, unvaccinated people, and you're starting to see more and more people start to get vaccinated. A lot of arguments being made, like, you want Florida to be open and stay open, get people vaccinated, do what you can positively. So we'll see what happens, in the immediate future.
Yeah. All right. Well, you can read about that one right now on OrlandoSentinel.com. All right. Moving forward here with Trevor Frazier. And Trevor, you've reported on this before. It's rental cars. They're hard to get right now. And now there's these concerns of don't get scammed because scammers are out there taking advantage of individuals.
Yeah. Yeah. This is sort of a new situation. To recap, yes, rental car prices are high and rental cars are hard to come by. They've gotten a little easier in the last month, but since the beginning of this year, there's just been a real shortage of rental cars. It goes back to rental car companies selling off their fleets during the pandemic when very few people were traveling. And then when they needed to rebuild their fleets, well, there was a shortage of new cars. Car manufacturing had shut down for a while. Then there were these chip plants that had disasters. And so now they just can't get new cars. So it's very hard for them to rebuild their fleets and have enough cars for everybody. But because of this, because prices are high, there are always people who pop up when they see a situation that they can take advantage of and become scammers. And so what is going on? The FTC issued a warning that to be on the lookout when you're renting a car to make sure that you are renting it from a reputable place and that it actually is going to be there. Because what's happening is these people are making fake websites, and sometimes they're fake websites for entirely fake car companies, but they'll call themselves something that sounds like a car company, sounds like it should be legit. You'll look it up and it'll, have a number, it'll have a whole thing for you to go through and place your order and yada, yada, yada. And then there just is no car. There is no company. They'll just stop talking to you, or it'll act like it's a budget or an enterprise or something that's nearby you, and it'll make it look like you're looking at the site for the local enterprise or the local budget or something like that. You'll get on the phone, you'll call somebody, they'll go through the whole thing, you'll think that you ordered it, and then it's not there. But there's a key ingredient to all of these, and that's that they'll always ask you to pay with a gift card. And that is that is sort of the biggest tell that you're dealing with this.
Yeah, that is definitely a red flag right there. But as far as like tracking these cases, like how are they doing that? Is there someone actually keeping track of this?
So right now the FTC is taking complaints and they're, investigating some of these. So far they got over 2,000 complaints related to rental cars in the first 3 months of the year. Also, the Better Business Bureau has what's called the Scam Tracker. And if you go on the Better Business Bureau and you go on their Scam Tracker website, you can look up scams by keyword and so on. You'll find a bunch of rental car scams that have been reported around the country along this. We found examples of people saying there was a guy in Miami said that he paid $1,700 for a car that just was not there when he showed up to to pick up his car. Somebody else who was saying they broke down on the side of the road and they called in, said that they needed to get this fixed and thought they were talking to somebody, and then sure enough, when they got to a budget, they said, "We don't have a reservation for you. We've never spoken to you." So, it is being watched. So far, no one has been arrested. None of these scams have been caught and shut down. I asked the FTC if they had any records of anybody having been busted for this yet, and so far, no, there haven't been any settlements or any criminal penalties against anybody.
Yeah. As far as the shortage, you mentioned in the article that the source that you spoke with said this isn't going away anytime soon. That's concerning.
Yeah, well, I think most analysts that you talk to about this say, yeah, it's going to be a while. A lot of this has to do with this microchip shortage, and there are so many things that need microchips that it's just going to be a while before they get distributed in a way that means that we start having enough cars and enough computers and enough phones and so on and so forth. But the other thing is, of course, the car manufacturing needs to get caught up, and that, and so it's going to be a while. But the good news on that is that it is easing. It is getting better. The prices have gone down. Prices around Orlando, they say, are between 50 and 75. Nationally, it's about 75 a day, which is better than, I mean, a few months ago, you would find things for $400 and $500 a day. So it's definitely getting better than that. And this man that I spoke to, who is the CEO of a company called Auto Slash that looks into rental cars for people, they were saying that if you book far enough out, if you make your plans and you book far enough out, you should be able to get a car. You should be able to get it at a decent price. So it's not as bad as it was. There are still places that in days where you could show up and there are no cars on the lot, but it's getting better, particularly if you start booking your travel in advance.
All right. Well, that's good news. Glad to hear things are starting to get better. That's promising. Appreciate that. All right. Well, you can read about that one on OrlandoSentinel.com. And that's all our topics for today. Appreciate you being with us. And of course, Trevor and Steve, always do a great job. And our colleagues on OrlandoSentinel.com, always at it. So if you like our work, we do appreciate your support. Go ahead and become a subscriber. But until tomorrow, we're going to go ahead and push pause. Till then, I'm Rich, Trevor, and Steve. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you soon.
Watch Orlando Sentinel Now live every weekday at noon on our Facebook page and on OrlandoSentinel.com.